So last night I watched the Floyd fight, and no, I did not pay for it. No, I don't think I illegally. I don't know if someone else paid for it, but all I know is I didn't pay for it. Someone else did, and I was able to watch the fight. Now I missed Chad Johnson and whoever the fuck he was fighting, and I know Chad Johnson got knocked out. It wasn't as bad as Nate Robinson because he got back up. So I think Chad Johnson or Chad Ochocinco, however y'all want to call him, but I'm gonna watch that fight. I want to see how well he did because he was fighting an MMA fighter, and I think the MMA fighter won that fight, obviously. Also, Chad Johnson's in immaculate shape, so shout outs to him. Like I feel like he could probably still play football. Like sometimes I wish I loved working out because even when I was in my best shape in my life and like I could run 2 5Ks, I never enjoyed working out. I wish I had that enjoyment of working out. I understand like working out is all healthy and all that stuff. I think a lot of people, but I think a lot of people like that. It's just maybe it's just me. I feel like you do have to enjoy working out for it to you to maintain that weight. Because I understand. Because even with wrestlers, like they work out because of their job. When they not when they're not or retire or they don't work as much, you can tell. Like you can see like the weight they go from there to big and all that other stuff. So anyway, it's not about that. It's about the Floyd fight. Always get sidetracked. It's about the Floyd fight. Now, I was entertained, but I knew what to expect from a Floyd fight. I thought the whole time it was like Floyd's going to play with him for the 8 rounds. Everybody was expecting him to knock him out and all that other stuff. I didn't. I was like Floyd's going to play with him for 8 rounds. But one of those rounds you're going to see, or one or two of those rounds you're going to see that Floyd is in another fucking level, even at his age of I think he's like 44 or some shit like that. That Logan Paul is not even in the middle of. First of all, it's an exhibition, so there's no winner or losers. I don't understand, and I think that was everybody's like, oh, Floyd trying to say. I think it was more or less for Jake. I'm sorry, Logan Paul than Floyd. Um, and two, I, like for people, I don't know why. Like every time when the Paul brothers do some boxing shit, it's like some race shit embedded into it. Like the shit with him and like Jake Paul and Nate Robinson. Like I love Nate Robinson, but I was like, why is this? Why is race put it into? This has nothing to do. It's just like two grown men fighting. That's where it should left it at. And I'm pretty sure. And I'm not bashing Jamel Hill and Kerry Champ because obviously it was a joke. And like it was a bad troll, but it was a troll. I understood that. So, but I'm looking at. Let me look at this again. It's just like as far as the Floyd Logan fight, I was entertained. I was at least that. I was entertained at least. I was like I said, I expected him to just put on a boxing spectacle, and he did. A very defensive fighter. Like most people don't realize that Floyd is a very defensive fighter. Now I know that little Japanese kid that he did an exhibition with, and he fucked him up. That was real, but I feel like here it's just like I think he was going to show him like how how he was going to outbox him, and he was like, "I'm going to be an entertainer." So when he said, "I'm going to entertain," that's what I expected the entertainment. And let me tell y'all something: what a lot of you casual fighters, because I think a lot of casual people wanted to see a knockout, but to me, what he showed was to Logan Paul, and Logan Paul was getting winded. Like first of all, I don't think a lot of people saw that because I saw with Skip Bayless and even a lot of people was like Floyd didn't look like Floyd. And I was like Floyd wasn't like even at Floyd's worst, and I think that was probably at Floyd's worst, technic and from a technical standpoint because he did like go easy on him. At Floyd's worst, he was like Logan Paul could not keep up with him. Like he was gassed by like round two, and Floyd didn't even exude energy. I made a joke. It's like I don't think Floyd even sweat. I think that was Logan Paul's sweat. If you look at the way Floyd looked, he felt like he looked like he could go another 12, even though they went like 8 rounds. Like Floyd looked like I could go 12 more. Like he didn't look tired. He didn't look like he was sweating profusely. Logan Paul looked like he was trying to give him his all, and like his hair was all wet like a wet dog and all that other stuff. And I want everybody to look at two things. One, and there's a video on him where it said Floyd actually knocked him out, but he picked him up just so he could save him. I saw that too, and I was like, oh shit, he actually really did knock him out. But he held him just so he could keep the fight going. That right there, if anybody saw that, like you should have understood what this was about. And two, and I don't know if anybody sees this, but I want like if anybody record like put this on TV, it's just like Floyd, like Logan Paul took a jab. It was like either a jab or a straight, and Floyd didn't even like weave. Like he was weaving, but he didn't even weave. He tilted his head long enough to where the punch would dodge and counter punched him in his face. And I was like, and like they showed that part in like slow motion. I was like, yo, Floyd didn't even fucking move his body. He just tilted this shit. Like there was some Dragon Ball Z shit. And then like if like if you would have saw like how well he was moving and he was like fucking hard to hit, because if you look at the total at the end, Logan Paul didn't even land 20% of any of his punches. He barely landed 15% of his punches. So that's how you know, even at Floyd's, because he got like, I think he got at least 6 inches on Floyd and like at least 30 pounds of muscle on him too. Floyd embarrassed that man. Like he really did. Now, the reason why if anybody's saying like Jake Paul is like, oh, he thought Logan won that fight, because he went 8 rounds with one of, if not the greatest boxer in our era. He is 50-0 or 51-0. He has not lost. So Floyd is literally probably one of, if not the greatest boxers pound for pound. And yes, he picks his own fights, and yes, like he doesn't like a fighter picks his own fights and all that other stuff, but he is an entertainer. So he is trying to put on a show. Another thing I realized is that if anything, I think people wanted to knock him out because I feel like if you ever seen that show Pros versus Joes, and they always have these retired athletes but they can still play or some shit like that, and these average Joes try to go against them and they get embarrassed. It shows. It's like I think a lot of people wanted Floyd to be like, all right, show him a reason why you're not to be fucked with. Why people say you're not a real boxer, you're not going against boxers. Now, yes, Floyd said, yeah, he did better than I thought. But at the same time, like, Floyd was literally toying with him this whole time. And whereas, like, Logan Paul was looking gassed. It's like he was looking really fucking gassed. And, like, Floyd was just standing there cool. He was like, all right, cool, thanks for the money. And yes, like, we all know Floyd is for the money. And, like, he promoted that shit real well, too. So, like, kudos to Floyd doing that. Do I want to see him do more exhibitions? I mean, like, it did his job. And I feel like Floyd did his job. So, it's just like... And I feel like with the Paul brothers, I feel like they could keep doing this. As long as someone is, bound to, like, entertain it, people are going to like it. It's just like... Jake Paul, Logan Paul, whichever one of the Paul brothers, just like, hey, I could, like, they see something, even though they probably really do want to be fighters or boxers or some shit like that, you cannot deny how much money this shit is making. So, to me, it's like, I feel like they found a gold mine, and they're just running with it. So, overall, because it's almost 10 minutes, I didn't mean to speak 10 minutes on this, I was entertained. But I understand why you wasn't entertained if you really want to see a knockout. But I was entertained. But I also, I saw things Floyd did that, I think Logan Paul knew, he better be glad he went easy on him. I think Floyd went so easy on him, but I also feel like they could talk shit about this. This is why I feel like Jake Paul is just like, yeah, got your win streak. It's like, that's why Floyd's looking like he lost and all that other stuff because Floyd played with him. And I think even Logan knew that if like this was serious, that shit would have been over in round one. And like I said, and like Mike Tyson said, only time he really got hit is because Floyd let him get hit. Everybody's like, "Oh, he got some good punches in." It's because Floyd let him. Floyd was literally like, there was one round where it's just like Logan was literally trying to hit him, and Floyd was weaving everything. It was just like weave, 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 and then he counterpunch him. It was just like, yo, this is not fair. This is really not fair. But I guess congrats to Logan Paul. You got your money, and Floyd got his money. So I think that till then. The name is Oskino Fly, and I am out. Peace.